Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Love for English. I hope you all are doing good. Today we are going to learn about The Tragedy of Macbeth, a tragic play written by William Shakespeare. It is Shakespeare's shortest tragedy. It is supposed to have been written in 1606. It was first performed before James I and his royal guest King Christian IV of Denmark sometime between 17th July and 11th August 1606. The play is divided in 5 acts and chronicles the bloody rise to power and tragic downfall of the warrior Macbeth. Today's video will only focus on Act 1 of the play. It's going to be a detailed yet a brief explanation of the 7 scenes we have in the first act. So let's get started with the video. So the play begins in an empty, desolated land. There is no sign of human life. This eerie scene, ravaged by thunder and lightning, adds to the unnerving mood of the play and acts as an omen of an uncertain future. Suddenly, 3 witches appear out of thin air. They call themselves 3 sisters. They speak in rhymes as if they are casting a spell. They make plans to meet again upon the heath after the battle to confront Macbeth. As they leave, they chant a witchy chant. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and fill the air. As creatures of the night and the devil, they like whatever is foul and hate the fair. So they will hover in the fog and in the dust and dirt of battle, waiting for the chance to do evil. Act 1, Scene 2. From there, the action quickly shifts to a battlefield. Duncan, the King of Scotland, is at war with the King of Norway. Duncan waits for the news of the battle, and a bleeding sergeant arrives to tell him of the valor of his general Macbeth. The king also hears of the treacherous behavior of one of his noblemen, the Thane of Cawdor. The king is greatly impressed by the bravery displayed by Macbeth on the battlefield. The sergeant also talks about the bravery of Banquo and other commanders who had fought side by side with Macbeth. Soon, Ross and Angus, 2 noblemen, arrive with further news of the battle. They inform the king that the victory has fallen to him mainly through the bravery of Macbeth. Act 1, Scene 3. The 3 witches gather again, as had already been arranged by them. They talk to one another about what they have been doing. Their conversation shows that they are cruel and revengeful. One of them discloses a plan to torture a sailor whose wife has insulted her. Macbeth and Banquo appear on the scene. They are on their way back from the battlefield when Banquo sees the witches. The witches make 3 prophecies. The first 2 prophecies are for Macbeth. They predict that Macbeth will become the Thane of Cawdor, and after that, the King of Scotland. The third prophecy is for Banquo. They predict that Banquo will be the father of kings, and then they vanish into thin air. Macbeth and Banquo are then greeted by Ross and Angus, and Ross informs Macbeth that King Duncan has conferred upon him the title of the Thane of Cawdor, and the previous person owning that title has been sentenced to death because of his treachery. Macbeth is astonished to see the witch's first prophecy come true and begins to contemplate evil ways to make the second prophecy come true. However, he quickly dismisses the thought. This is the moment the thought of murdering King Duncan starts to take root in his mind. Act 1, Scene 4. The scene now shifts to King Duncan's palace, which is at Forres. Everyone meets and greets each other. It's a time for celebration because of the victory and also because King Duncan has an important announcement to make. Now, let me tell you, King Duncan has two sons, Malcolm and Donalbain. King Duncan proudly declares his eldest son Malcolm the heir to his throne. This news comes as a great blow to Macbeth, and it greatly upsets him. He sees Malcolm as an obstacle in the way of his becoming the King of Scotland. The thought of the assassination of King Duncan starts feeling like the only way open to him to make the second prophecy come true. Act 1, Scene 5. The scene is in Inverness, where Lady Macbeth is reading a letter written to her by her husband, in which he tells of the prophecies of the witches and Macbeth's promotion to the Thraneship of Cawdor. As she reads the prophecies, her thoughts leap to the crown which she believes is waiting for her husband, and ponders if Macbeth is ambitious enough to take the steps necessary to make himself the king, even if it goes against his moral values. A messenger arrives to inform her that Duncan, the King of Scotland, and Macbeth are on their way to their castle. Lady Macbeth considers this visit as a great opportunity for her husband to kill King Duncan and resolves to manipulate her husband to do whatever is required to seize the crown. On Macbeth's arrival, they start discussing the king's forthcoming visit when Lady Macbeth tells him about the plan of killing King Duncan. Macbeth shows no inclination towards committing regicide, but Lady Macbeth remains adamant and starts plotting the king's murder. Act 1, Scene 6. So Duncan arrives at Macbeth's castle. He is accompanied by his son, Malcolm, and Donalbain, and a few of his noblemen, Banquo, Lennox, Macduff, Ross, and Angus. Lady Macbeth greets the king joyously on his arrival and professes her utmost loyalty and devotion to him. He praises the castle's pleasant environment and asks to be taken to Macbeth. Act 1, Scene 7. Macbeth is in a state of conflict. Inside the castle, Macbeth is seen pacing by himself, pondering over the idea of assassinating Duncan. He weighs his option and ponders over the terrible consequences which will follow if they go on with the plan they are contemplating. He also ponders over the reasons why he can't kill Duncan. After all, Duncan is his relative, his king, and his guest. He also thinks about the love and praise Duncan has showered upon him, and can think of no reason to kill him other than his own ambition and greed for the throne. Lady Macbeth joins her husband, and he tells her that they won't be going ahead with the plan. Outraged, Lady Macbeth insults and berates him. She calls him a coward and questions his manhood. She also suggests that he does not love her. Macbeth, with his pride wounded, finally succumbs to Lady Macbeth's wishes, and they start scheming and plotting King Duncan's murder. That's all for today, guys. If you like the video, do hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to share and subscribe for more upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.